All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today this is the first of the series of visiting companies at, at in our fall 2022 semester. We have SCHOEL who has been here often, and I'm happy to say that these are our graduate students. We taught them, meaning our geomatics program taught these guys, and they're yet to return some capital money back to the program. We're just kidding. The thing is, it's good, it's refreshing to see these guys be successful, and more importantly, they love what they're doing. They've been in and shows for large majority of their professional lives. They're all licensed surveyors, and they're here to speak to you about what their business operations about, and also looking at students who are looking for co-op opportunities for the summer, as well as permanent or offers for when they graduate. All right. I noticed there's food, and the history has shown you speak to the students if there is a lot of food there, and that's why they're here to learn more about what you have to offer. Thank you for the food. We do appreciate it, and we look forward to you coming back again. If there's any interest in terms of students, if you are interested in these guys, please get their contact information. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You will introduce yourself today.
Good morning. My name is Wade Ward. I'm a graduate of the program in 2011. I actually went straight from Troy to Birmingham to work for SCHOEL at the time. The company's grown a lot since then. I think we're running 2 crews at that time. I think we're running 14 out of 2 different offices right now. So the company is in growth mode, and we've had tremendous success. Maybe a lot like you guys. Hopefully we'll find out more about you in a minute, but went to school at Kinston High School. If you guys know where that is, down in Coffee County. Grew up on a farm, row cropping and raising chickens, and I didn't want to do that for a living. All right, so this was one of those things that put me out in my element, working outside. It's been a good career for me and my family. It's done well to support us, so I enjoy it.
I'm Jake Bonnis. I've been at SCHOEL Engineering for about 9 years. I'm the assistant director of surveying. So what I do is I travel back and forth between our offices and check on projects, check on project managers, and just try to keep the wheels going from the operations side of things. So I worked one other place right out of college and worked there for about a year doing DOT work, and decided that was not what I wanted to do. That I wanted to work doing on the private development side, and that way we can have relationships with clients and go a little bit deeper and kind of have those long-lasting relationships that I wanted in my career. So I'm from Flomaton, Alabama, which is in the south part of the state, and graduated with a very small class down there. Probably not unlike a lot of folks in the room, but got into surveying just happenstance. A friend of mine got into the geomatics program and kept asking what surveying was, and he said, "You should just get a job." And so I did. I got a job one summer, and I was cutting section lines out, and that's kind of where it started for me. I thought, man, this is crazy. They'll pay me to do this. This is awesome. So I'm just kind of like a scavenger on it. We were going finding corners, and it was fun. We had a good time, and so enjoyed my time here at Troy with Dr. New, and just had a good experience. And the SCHOEL, as we'll kind of highlight later, there's just so much room for growth and opportunity. Really is what we're here to kind of tell you. We've got a place. I know a lot of companies have places, but I think the way we differentiate ourselves from other companies is we have a proven track record of not only getting graduates, not only getting them to come to SCHOEL, but we have graduates that are anywhere from just recently hired. Justin Grimsley just recently hired at SCHOEL, all the way up to, Wade and myself, director of surveying, project manager, field crew chiefs that are licensed. So we know how to develop foreign graduates into licensees and help them have a successful career. We wouldn't be, people would not have stayed as long as they have and been with Shoal as long as they have if we weren't doing something right. And so I won't ask Frank Thomas to stand up and testify, but Frank worked with us for a little while, so he kind of knows the drill there. No, I'm not gonna ask him to stand up.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. But his brother Tepper, Middleton came last time with us and wanted to bring him this time, but we were just so busy in the field, we just couldn't bring him. We figured having one Middleton in the room was enough. We didn't need two, so, but no, appreciated Frank's time with us and hope he'll come back to see us whenever he gets done here, so. But that's a little bit about us, but we always like to go around and just ask, what high school are you from? And then what year are you in? That kind of helps us gauge two things. That helps us kind of understand what part of the state you're from, kind of where you're geographically located, because we do have offices in Birmingham, Huntsville, and Tuscaloosa. So we're trying to gauge, kind of where you are. And then also, it helps us understand who's about to graduate or who's coming up on graduation or who might be ready for a co-op. So we'll change it up this time and start back, and we'll go around, and professors, we'll skip y'all because we already know you. We'll give you a break this time. So, all right, go ahead.
I'm Andrew Smith. I'm from Carroll High School in Ozark, Alabama. I'm a senior. Seth Whitaker from Enterprise. I graduated 2007. I'm one of the older guys in here, I guess. Yeah. Enterprise High School.
My name's Sawyer McKenzie. I went to Pike Lab here in Troy. I'm a senior.
Okay, I'm Caitlin Williams. I went to high school at McGill-Tulin in Mobile, and this is like my senior-ish year.
Geomatics, or GIS.
Good one, it's about
Good.
My name's Frank Middleton. I'm from Selma. I graduated from Morgan Academy. I'm a sophomore.
My name's Ted Driver from the Andalusia area, south of here. I'm a junior.
Tom Hines. He's a graduate from here. He's got business there. And later, I don't know if you knew him or not.
What's the name of his business?
I
He
think
worked for Danko Hayden. Son.
okay. No, I don't know him.
Tom's company's Diamond H, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Diamond H. That's right.
My name's Julian Coleman. I'm from Butler County. Was homeschooled. I'm a sophomore. My major is serving GMAT.
In Butler counties, which one's Butler? I get Butler and Boyd mixed up.
You've got Pike County, and you got Crenshaw, and then you got Butler County.
Okay.
I'm Lake Kickwider. I graduated from Birmingham High School in Ogden County, and I'm a junior.
I'm sure Glass. I graduated from Birmingham High School in Watauga County, and I'm a junior. I'm Ramsey Tip. I'm a sophomore. I graduated from Charles Henderson, right across the road.
Hayden Brown, graduated from Pensacola Christian in Pensacola, Florida, and I'm a senior.
Sullivan Duke, I graduated from Alabama Christian in Montgomery. I'm a sophomore.
Spencer Hodges, graduated from Helena High School, and I'm a senior. JT Moore, and I graduated from Alabama Christian in Montgomery, and I'm a freshman.
Cameron Dowdy, I graduated from Huntsville High School, and I'm a senior.
How many of you have seen Wade now come through? Just show a hand. 4. So about half. That's good. That's good. So we're planning. We came at the end of last semester, and a lot of people had kind of already committed, and that's fine. I'm glad it's a hot market right now. So we're planning to come this time and maybe one more time, hopefully before the end of the semester in some capacity. That may be a football game. That may be another time to try to come in here and talk. But we're going to try to make a couple of appearances and hope to see y'all at the ASPLS conference that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. So kind of stay tuned for that. I know Wade and I will not be there in person. We'll have some SCHOEL staff that are there. Some of our surveyors who are up in the Huntsville office will be there. So look forward to, I think there's some students, trying to get some students coming from Troy up there. It's always a good time. As far as As far as SCHOEL goes, I'll just make an introduction about SCHOEL just quickly. We handed out 2 documents, and I know whenever I get handed documents, it's like, what is all this? It's a lot of it's just FYI information. The first document I want to call your attention to, though, is it's the one that says vision at the top. It says SCHOEL in 2025. And no, I'm not going to read through this document. That's for you to kind of flip through if you care to know or care to read. But the point that I'm trying to make by handing out this document is that SCHOEL does a visioning every 5 years. So we sit down as a company, even though we're 134 years old, we still sit down every 5 years and plan for the next 5, and then plan for the next 5. So just for example, in 2015, when we sat down and did this, me and Wade were part of that group, and part of that discussion was we wanted to expand geographically. Little did we know that we'd end up in Huntsville. So that's just one example of how our planning process allows us to kind of be strategic in the way that we grow and we do. It's not accidental, it's all for a reason and a purpose, and there's a plan kind of in place there. So, this Vision 2025, of course, was set out in Vision in 2020. We sat down and tried to take a look and see what 2025 would look like. And a big part of that, of 2025 vision is making sure that we are staffed to grow. And that's why we're here. That's why we plan to come a couple of times this semester. We're going to be hitting up a lot of universities trying to recruit students to come in, because without people, we don't have a business. Our business is just people and projects. So if we can get the projects to come in, we can get the people to work on, we can continue to grow indefinitely. And that's why we're here, because we need Floyd Geomatics graduates and need you on our team. So that vision document there talks about our services. It talks about our locations. It talks about new investments in technology, and it gets pretty specific. And this is done over a couple of day period. And that's why Wade and I won't be at the ASPLS conferences. Just so happens that same weekend is our strategic planning weekend, and that's where we'll be that weekend. But again, there'll be some SCHOEL staff that are present there. But as far as this document goes, that's really all I'm trying to point out. We've got we're an engineering company and a survey company, so you'll see things in here about water resources, and you'll see things about environmental. There are things that we couldn't even predict that was going to happen in this document when we put it together in 2020, like the separation of water resources and environmental. We didn't even know that was going to happen, but we're going to have 2 different departments because we've had so much growth in those departments. So, and it's amazing. You may say, well, I have no idea what I'm going to do 5 years from now. I've got no clue. Well, you'd be surprised whenever you put a plan in place, how close you get to that.
Yeah, I think, I would say this makes us fairly unique. Do other people do this kind of vision casting? I don't know. But one of the biggest things here I want to point out to you is there's something that flavors all this vision, right? That affects the work that we do every day, that affects the reason Jake and I are here, and that's our culture, right? We're sticklers about certain things at SCHOEL, and culture is one of those, right? We have the president of the company could be down in Destin, feet up on a yacht, drinking Mai Tais if he wanted to, right? That's not what he does. He's in the office every day, grading stuff out. He's in there grinding on projects, right? That culture, that I'm equal with everybody else, and everybody's valuable is what feeds our entire culture. And that's why we're here, right? It's not to hire everybody. It's not to offer everybody a job. Does our culture and how SCHOEL is run as a business, is that how you run? Is that how you operate? Are you willing to learn and humble and smart? Are you those kind of things? And those are the people that are attracted to Troy, and I think those are the people that stay. But that idea of why we do what we do, it's our people. Our people make us great. And see if I get it right. Walter said something. When not good because we're old. We're old because we're good. Right? Like we do things well, which helps carry the legacy forward. And that's Jake and my stance. As long as we're there, we're gonna perpetuate that forward, right? That culture of hard work, getting in there, treating people fairly, taking care of each other is what we're about at SCHOEL.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to just go ahead and let your mind be thinking. We're going to ask for you to ask questions here. We're going to try to be done about 1:45 because I know some of you have classes at 1. So we're going to be done at 1:45, cut it off. But here in about 5 minutes to go, we'll kind of break and ask any questions because I want to hear from y'all. If we're not answering your questions, I thought we're not providing you as good information as we can. So just be thinking about that. So that's all from that document. So you can lay that one to the side. And then the next document is, this is really our, when we sit down and try to figure out, what's the type person, who's the type people that we need to show, this is what this document's about. So while the other document's more of a company document, this is more speaking directly to you as a student. And I would suggest that we kind of take a look at this and I'll read through it with you. SCHOEL Engineering is a land surveying and civil engineering firm with offices in Huntsville and Tuscaloosa. Established in 1888, SCHOEL has a proven record of consistency and longevity through its 134 years of service. And SCHOEL, land surveyors and engineers are treated equally. And so 2 things to point out from that paragraph is SCHOEL has been around for a long time. And when you talk about stability in this market, everybody's stable, all right? But how long is that going to last? We don't know. But we've been here through markets thick and thin, and it's through our planning, which is and God's good graces, that's allowed us to stay in business for that long. 2008, 2009 was tough, and we've made some changes through financial decisions, to hold a certain amount of expenses back, and to our philosophy on pay, and we'll get into some of those things in just a few minutes, but that's allowed us to stay in business for that long. And then the second thing I want to point out from that paragraph is that engineers and surveyors are treated equally. And that may not sound like a big statement because you haven't worked in a company before, but if a lot of surveying and engineering companies, the engineers are up here and I can't reach high enough, but and the surveyors are way down here and I can't reach low enough. And so, but at SCHOEL Engineering, we're all on the same, from a pay standpoint, from a respect standpoint, from all of that standpoint, we're co-equal. If there's a senior project manager in engineering, there's a senior project manager in surveying, their salary ranges are the same, their benefits are the same. They hold the same amount of weight in the company. And why is that? It's because SCHOEL was started as a surveying company. We laid out the streets of Birmingham and, starting in the 1800s, we've got field notes going all the way back to that point in time. And, you can walk through our record room, look and pull the book off the shelf and actually see the field notes from that. So we started as a surveying company and over time grew into engineering as we grew. SCHOEL understands surveying. Wade mentioned Walter, our owner. He worked on a survey crew back whenever he was coming up with his dad. And, so he worked on a crew for a time. He understands that his 2 sons have worked on crews, albeit briefly, they've worked on crews and understand surveying enough to have a good respect for it. They're engineers and then one's on the financial side. So our engineers have been on survey crews. So you take one of our brightest engineers, Andrew Phillips, who he came to Troy, came here for a couple of years and decided he wanted to do engineering instead. But he worked on a survey crew at SCHOEL, and that's been instrumental in his growth as an engineer. So the respect is there, and that's frankly not there in some other companies. They look at surveys just a subset of engineering, which it most certainly is not. It's its own industry, and we have our own clients and our own revenue, and that's.
I would say percent revenue reflects that as well, right? So of the five departments, survey makes up, I don't know, 45-ish% of all revenue of the company. So one department of 5 is bringing in almost half of that revenue. That's the survey department.
Yeah.
And we're not, we're a survey firm and an engineering firm, right? We're not an engineering firm that does surveys.
That's right.
Our clients are our engineers and our clients are everybody else too, right? So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that revenue is something else maybe we'll have time to talk about. If not, I'll quickly say, we look at that publicly throughout the company. So there's a teams meeting we have twice a month where we look at revenue. You can see each department's revenue and see the company's profit. We're very open book about what we do, and there's nothing hidden behind closed doors, short of, we're not gonna put everybody's salaries up on the screen, but short of that, we share all that information twice a month. And so, it's just a testament to kind of you can look and see survey has the highest, highest billing every month. Engineering's about 40%, we're working 45%, so it's a good thing to kind of keep rolling. So we need y'all to hit over 60%. So come on, let's do it, So, the second paragraph there says that the success of the survey department starts with the crew members. We're the first ones in, the last one out. That motto rings true to our survey crews. Often our crews have the privilege of seeing projects start as raw, undeveloped land during topographic surveys, and they're transformed through the construction, staking, and end as beautifully designed development. And we end up doing post-construction surveys, and that happens, all the time. When we start on a piece of property, there's nothing there. They tear it all down. We stake it out. We end up doing a ALTA survey or as built at the end of the day. And then, all of a sudden there's a multifamily development there. Or in Wade's case, he does a lot of UAB work. Maybe there was a building there that was old. They tore it down and built a nice new, bigger one there that is, you drive by that and go, man, I staked that out.
Well, River Woods in Helena, right? It was just a bunch of USX land. And SCHOEL came in there, I don't know, been working on it 20 years now to, I don't know how many homes are in that subdivision.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
So that's the kind of projects that SCHOEL works on. We lean toward the big jobs, the complicated stuff that it just takes a lot of horsepower to get those projects done. It's nothing that we've done, Jake and I have specifically done. It's the work of all the other ones that before us have given us an opportunity to do that work. And now it's our responsibility to carry that forward. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we intend to do, is continue. That's why we say continuing the tradition of excellence up top. We look at it, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, just trying to perpetuate what we were given. So continuing on with that thought, the strength of our crews is, the strength of our survey crews results in consistently successful projects throughout SCHOEL's storied history. Survey crews have been foundational to the company's success, and we've already covered that part as far as how we started as a survey company and got into engineering. So to continue to achieve this high standard of excellence, we believe people are our greatest asset. We've talked about that. SCHOEL currently employs 7 graduates from the Troy University Surveying and Geomatics Sciences program. 4 of them are professional licensed land surveyors. That's me and Wade. 2 of them are soon to be licensed. Frank's brother Tepper will be licensed as soon as whenever he takes the test. I'm sure he'll licensed maybe even this year. And then 1 is a recent hire who's working on a field crew, and that's Justin Grimsley that we mentioned earlier. So I'll point that out to say again, like I said at the beginning, the reason that we're stand out is because we have hired so many graduates. Not only that we've hired them, because anybody can hire them if they stay. They came here and they stayed at SCHOEL because they have a plan. And that plan has been put in place, and we've kept our word to them and said, if we're going to do it, we've done it. And that's what we would like to do for several of you guys.
yeah, not only is it a plan, right? We've successfully gone through, and Jake could get to it, the career path on the backside, but 2 guys are currently completely through that. So it's not just something we go, oh, this is what we're going to try. This is something that's been done.
Absolutely.
Right. This is the path forward. This is how we take young men and women like you, bring you through the ranks and show you how to be land surveyors and get you licensed. Right? It just works.
It's a tried and true method. So continued on, the graduates have been developed into professionals by the mentorship they've received, the projects they've worked on, the opportunities they've been given. So you'll be given opportunities, there's no doubt. With the 4 graduates obtaining their license, this creates more opportunities to hire new graduates to aspire to begin their surveying career. So we don't just hire you just to sit still. But we're trying to hire you to move you because we need you in certain places. So I need licensed land surveyor. I need 2 now in Huntsville. I need 1 now in Tuscaloosa if we were to decide to open up something there. We got plans for later in next year to maybe open up another office, somewhere else. And I'm gonna need a licensed land surveyor there. So all these people that we've hired, all of a sudden here they come through and now there's an opportunity. Okay, here's you an opportunity. Do you want to go here? It's going to be a pay raise of X and here's what your future looks like. And do you want to go? No, you don't want to go. Okay, it goes to the next guy then. And it's just continual opportunity as we roll through and grow. And that's what we've set up. That's why we have set it up this way. So provide the next paragraph down starts out providing opportunities for graduates to fulfill their vision of success is important to show. Many students enter land surveying and geomatics programs because they want to work outdoors, earn a living to provide for themselves and their families. To make this happen, we're committed to have PLSs lead many of our highly skilled field crews, and SCHOEL has already invested several years into this process. We have 2 Troy geomatics graduates who are licensed and committed to running crews as a PLS, and that goes back to Tech. Actually, that's Todd King and Austin Murphy, and then next time we stand up here, I hope we can say 3 because then it'll be Techland. So, but that's where we're headed. We don't want people out in the field that are just pressing a button and going on an Easter egg hunt, finding a bunch of irons and bringing it back in and saying, I don't know what I got, but here you go. We want you to think, okay, what does this deed say? How do you interpret it? Where does the property line go? Where does it look like it goes? I mean, you may not be setting it, but tell me where you think it goes.
Yeah, and I think you'll find that maybe other engineering firms, survey firms may have 1 PLS, right, that's in the office, maybe out in the field, and everybody else is going and collecting the data, right, and that one person's signing the map. And most of the time, it's one person, chief land surveyor, signing maps, right? Somebody's got to sign that line. But, there's, what's the last count? 11 PLSs in SCHOEL. And so we have 11 licensed surveyors at SCHOEL, where most places are going to have 1, right? Maybe 2. But some of those are out in the field. So some of those guys are actually doing the field work, which once again, that was a decision made a long time ago. You go, hey, we don't want this just technical guy that knows how to turn an instrument on out doing a land survey, right? We want somebody who understands the principles that the professors are teaching to go out and do the best that we can do. So, yeah, it's a unique situation, right? Because I'll have a situation when I talk to Jake will talk to somebody else. We can talk about a boundary and make a collective decision, which is probably better than one man's decision on his own.
Yeah. A former boss of mine, he used to own his own practice, and then he went to work for an engineering firm. And then whenever I got hired at SCHOEL, he and I talked, and he said, man, you just so blessed to have, Joey, who's my boss. You got Mark, and you got all these guys you can sit there and talk to about boundary issues. He said, when it's me, I do the best I can, and have to take a business card to the top of that iron and just tell them to call me if they got a question, because sometimes you just do the best you can do. And if it's just you making that decision, there is a sense of, well, I did the best I could, but hey, I didn't have anybody else to bounce it off of. So we are very fortunate in the sense that we can walk right down the hall and say, hey, knock on the door, I got a question. You can pass 3 offices of the best surveyors you ever experienced in your life. About like working on the dream team, and you will pass Roger Joyner and Joey and Mark, and you have those guys down there. It's like, goodness gracious, I wouldn't want to ask anybody else in the world about what they thought about it. So
100 years of experience, 3 doors away, literally 100 years, probably.
Or more, yeah.
So,
but continuing on down to qualifications, because of course there are qualifications for this. We're not just looking for any and everybody. We do have qualifications. We're looking for somebody who aligns with our company vision and goals, and that's why we handed out the vision statement. we're looking for somebody that's got personal character and integrity, somebody that's got values, honesty, integrity, keeping your word, your yeses are yes, your nos are nos. We're handshake people. That's the kind of thing that we look for. Self-motivated, strong work ethic. You desire accountability, meaning that you're not afraid to take some feedback. And, it's not going to be, I'm not going to beat you over the head about it, but, the only way you learn something, how'd you learn whenever your mom and dad told you to do something? No, don't do that. Well, it's the same way here. It's just, you gotta, it's that constant refining of doing things and going through the process and learning. And one day there'll be a whole lot more yeses than nos. So it's just a refining process. Commitment to acquiring licensure and running the field crew. That's again, that goes back to what we're looking for. We feel like the best way to get you prepared for your career is to go get licensed and then run a field crew for a period of time before you go on to do other things. And I'll say this, that we've upped salaries to a point in field crews where that is a career position. That you can make quite a bit of money working in a field crew, in a crew chief or senior crew chief role after you get your license, that you could stay and raise a family and do completely fine, with a PLS. It would be equivalent to working anywhere else. So that's something we've also made it a point to do, is to push the envelope on that side of things. And salary is one part of the deal, and in our compensation theory, you got salary and you got bonuses. Some people give salary all up front. One company may give you $30 an hour to come to work, but there's very little bonuses. All right. The other theory, which is the one we adopt, is we're going to be industry average or a touch above the industry average, and that bonus is a 20% bonus of your salary that you get every year. It's up to that 20% margin, and you will not find another company that comes in here that will tell you that, because we've read every industry survey there is to understand. But our bonus program again gives you 20% of your bonus. So if you're at 50,000, that's an extra 10,000 a year, bonused out quarterly. That's how that works. So that's how, just in rough numbers, you can make 60,000 a year, just because the company's doing so well. And we've got people that's worked at our company 6 years that've never known anything but a 20% bonus. So the past is not an indication of the future, but nevertheless, we've been there for quite some time. And work is not slowing down. If anything, it's speeding up. So, and then the very last thing is ability to pass fundamentals within the next 6 months. So I know that Dr. New and Dr. Ramroot, Dr. Hazleton, they all push pretty hard for you all to take that test. We would do the same as well.
It's been about 5.
All right, I'm gonna be quick here. This last sheet right here, this very last sheet, what this tells you is a little bit about details of the job. So job details, we run 2-man crews. Your daily tools would be robotic total stations, automatic levels, and GPSs. You have a survey vehicle, and then you report to a project manager. Your career path, this is something that we sat down and did with all our graduates as they've come through. This is the plan. This is the plan to come in, work on a crew for 0 to 12 months, 12 to 36 months, run a crew, 36 to 48 months. You can work in the office, doing drafting, and learn the office side of things. And then 48 months plus is being a pass the PLS exam and run a crew, and progress through your crew chief positions listed there. The things I want to point out under compensation and benefits is the number 2 there is the 20% bonus that we just talked about, coming down to paid paternity and maternity leave and paid adoption and fostering leave. That's something unique that a lot of companies do not do. You get, if you're a woman, you get 2 weeks of paid leave. We have a structure in place to where you can go on short-term disability after that, not miss a paycheck. So
Let me add a little bit right there. So those 2 things under compensation and benefits were a direct result of something else the company does. It's called a company-wide survey that happens every year. That goes out to the entire company and say, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Where do we need to improve? A strategy team gets together, discusses that. And then if we feel like it's a warranted whatever, right? If that thing coming from the employees is warranted, then the company makes a change, right? So survey engineering has it's dominated by males, no big deal, right? That's just what it is. Nobody was having babies, right, at the company, so they never thought about maternity, right? Well, over the years, we've had multiple women come on board, and that's something that they said, hey, y'all need to add this. So we did, right? So the company, once again, respects everybody's opinion. You have a voice. Every employee has a voice, and the strategic planning team and the senior manager said, yeah, we need to do that. That's something we need to offer. So that, once again, you have a voice at SCHOEL, right? Every employee gets a chance to speak up.
Right, that's a good point. And along with that, we do a benefits study every year, along with a salary study to make sure we're paying competitive, and providing competitive benefits. And so if you look at your PTO time, 0 to 5 years, 3 weeks, 6 to 15 is 4 weeks, and after 15 years, it's 5 weeks. So you start out day one with 3 weeks of PTO time. We don't have sick leave and all that stuff. We just roll it into one. And then the last one I'll point out here is the 100% matching up to 4% of base salary. That's another thing that was changed over the course of the last year. We increased that. It used to be you had to put in 6%. The company would match 3%. So 50% or 50 cents on the dollar. Now it's dollar for dollar up to 4%. So that was another, it's another expense to the company, but another way that we took feedback from employees and said, okay, yes, we need to kind of get on par here. But I ran through those pretty quickly, but again, the ones I want to point out to you is the career path. That's there for you if you want it. If you kind of fit these qualifications, if any of this kind of is something that you're looking for, we'd encourage you to reach out to us. You can do that by calling us on our cell phone numbers, or you can scan this QR code here to apply. We have postings already up and available. But with that being said, I know we have just a minute here, but is there any questions that we can hopefully answer, or anything we can clarify that we said? Sir.
In y'all's vision thing that y'all do every 5 years, down the road, do y'all see y'all like moving more south, or just kind of staying in the North Alabama?
I do see us moving south. Yeah.
Are y'all mostly doing, like local projects around the office, or kind of statewide and all over the place?
Yeah, so a lot of it is local. A lot of it is around Birmingham, around Huntsville. In years past, we have started to stretch that envelope just as we're growing, working with different clients. I would say most of our field crews are home every night. There's chances that the guys have to go out of town here or there. We typically try to share that around the office too, right? Unless there's just one crew. We've got one guy, Jeremy Williams, and his Robin, that love to be out of town. So they say, if there's an out of town job, let me know, I want to go. So it's becoming a little more increasing, I guess, that we're traveling outside of the city, but most of the time it's come to the office every morning, drive to the job, do it, come back, you're at the house.
Yeah. With offices in Birmingham and Huntsville, like Wade said, we can cover pretty much North Alabama, basically Montgomery North, we can cover that in a day trip. Which is why going south, we've got projects cropping up in Florida. One that's going to be several year project, 4 or 5 year long project that we've got cropping up down close to Panama City. So I look for us to expand down that way. I'm just going to say down that way somewhere in the next
Central Panhandle-ish, somewhere.
Somewhere in that area in the next 2 or 3 years.
Well,
Go ahead.
what support do your company gives to employees looking for post-graduation degrees?
Say that first part again, I think, Kitchen.
Well, what we all do for people who, employees who are looking for post-graduation degrees,
Okay, so you're talking about like a master's program.
masters, other things, yeah.
Yeah, all right, so what we do on that is we evaluate that on a case-by-case basis. So we have draftsmen who are in programs right now to get their surveying degrees. We also have crew members who are in online degrees, taking their online courses. So we just handle that on a case-by-case basis. Some people get their masters and that sort of thing, but it's not it has to be a reason that the company needs that particular thing. It's not just offering just in a wide swath of say, anybody that wants to can be offered. The reimbursements, I think it's a little bit more than 5,000 a year, or 5,000 a year, 5,250.
Co-op opportunities, co-op, because a lot of them are looking for summer co-op opportunities. What does it entail?
Yeah, summer co-op, Birmingham or Huntsville right now is where the two opportunities are. So, what you would do physically is you would, of course, you'd apply, or better yet, if you can't figure out the application process, it's probably better just to call me or Wade, and we'll walk you through that process. But what you'll do is you'll go out and work on the field crew, and you'll be given as much responsibility as you can take, because there's a lot to do. So, if you come in and you're able to run a robotic total station or a GPS or whatever, you'll be given opportunities to do whatever it is that you'll be able to work to your maximum capacity. But we're not going to put you out there and put you in a bad situation where you're working and responsible for things that you're not competent to do.
And we can't say we have X spots because we don't know. But I'll say if 5 people call us and want to come work for a co-op, we're going to do everything in our power to make it happen.
Yeah. I'll say this, we do offer a stipend, as well. So for co-ops, so if that's something that you're interested in, just let us know. We can talk through the details of that. The thing I want to make, just make this clear is in Huntsville, it is the fastest growing city in Alabama, and it's also our fastest growing office. So the opportunities are there to move faster. I know that's a longer trip than here, but I'm going, close your ears, doctors, I'm going to ETSU next month, and I'm trying to get somebody to go to Huntsville, because right now, a lot of y'all are from South Alabama. And so it's hard for you to relocate up there. I get it, but the projects are there, the money's there, the opportunity's there. So grab it while it's there.
And let me take my SCHOEL hat off here and just talk to you as a Troy grad. When I went to Birmingham, there was 2 things there was one thing I knew about Birmingham. That was Highway 65 went north and south out of it. And that was it. That's the only thing I knew about Birmingham, Alabama. I packed my stuff up in a truck and a trailer and ended up staying in an extended stay hotel for 2 months. So I found a place to rent in Birmingham. Now that was 12 years ago. All right. So I had different aspirations of staying at home and doing this and doing that. And I love boundary surveys. And I love being in the country, but sometimes that's hard to raise a family on. It can be. You can, but it can be difficult, right? So I would just say, don't be afraid to make a big change, right? We just had somebody come in that kind of wanted to stay local and started working with the company and just didn't quite pan out, and realized, all right, I'm going to have to go do something maybe a little outside of my comfort zone. And I think he'll ultimately be glad that's what happened. So, if you see an opportunity, sometimes you got to jump at it, right? So I'm not saying pack your stuff up and go to Huntsville, but
I am. I'm saying pack it up. I need you.
Yeah. So there's opportunities out there. And another thing, when you're talking to companies, ask not just about your salary, but ask about your total benefits package. Right? What's that bottom number? Take my base salary, take any insurances, any 401k. Like I want to see what that bottom line number is, because you need to know that, right? Because our base salary may not stack up against somebody else's base salary, but I will almost guarantee you that our bottom line is probably as good, if not better, than almost anybody else, right? So you gotta look at your total package, right? You gotta look at your total benefits package. So I guess that's another free tidbit of not SCHOEL talking to you, but just a Troy geomatics, right? To do the best for yourself.
Yes.
So for the internship, y'all offer housing? I know you said stipend, but is that going to cover
Housing for the summer?
It'll cover a portion of housing, so it'll cover part of that.
Okay.
So it won't be enough to cover all of it every month that you're there.
And we realize that it's you guys are from South Alabama, right? We're in Birmingham, like there's a gap there that we have to help cover, and that's a mechanism we put in place to try to bridge that gap.
When y'all send out like survey crews, do y'all give paperwork or is it all digitized?
It's a little bit of both. Some paperwork, just because some things are more easily seen on paper. And some of it is in digital format, like points and CAD files that are on our data collectors, because it's just so helpful to have everything. One, you have to have the points to stake things out. And it's good to have those background CAD files so you can tell where you are on the site. So it's a little bit of both. I don't think we'll ever get away from having a little bit of both, just because of the readability of plans or so. On a 7-inch screen, there's only so much you can see.
Just give a quick summary of all the work that's done, because we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start just rattling off some projects and you jump in. So, if you're familiar with Birmingham, the summit, you ever been to the summit on Birmingham right there at 459 and 280? That was a mountain, when SCHOEL started probably 30 years ago. Liberty Park multifamily development. Regions Field, you ever been to the Bears game? We did all the work on that. Pre-demolition Alta, we redesigned storm culverts, post-Alta constructions on that. The new football stadium, protective stadium in Birmingham, resurveys of that property, construction layout, the new deck in Birmingham, the elevated roadway 2059 that runs through downtown. We had 5 crews working on that project at one time. It's projects like that on and on around the Birmingham area. What about Huntsville?
Yeah, in Huntsville, what you'll recognize is we've done a ton of multifamily development up there. So I could tell you the names of them, it wouldn't really matter to you, but you're talking about, 100+ size, apartment complexes. We do residential, some small, when I say small, I just mean the lots are small. So you may have 20 acres and 100 lots and 20 acres and that sort of thing. But we do a lot of residential development, a lot of apartment development up there because housing is such a crunch up there. So that's what we do. I tell you, the project we got down in Panama City is a federal project that, we're in the federal space now. It's a diversification strategy for us. But again, that'll be a project that I'll tell you, it's at Tyndall Air Force Base. It's when Hurricane Michael hit, it completely wiped out the base. We're doing all the construction staking for the contractor down there. So that'll be a 4-year contract that we'll start at the beginning of next year. So if you come and see us, we'll have crews down there. When a lot of you are ready for co-ops and whenever you get ready to graduate, some of them come. So that we don't do the one-off housing, lot steakhouse and that sort of stuff. It's a big subdivision for doing it. So, all right, we'll turn it back over to you guys. I know, be respectful of your time, but we appreciate your attendance and your attention. Thank you.
This morning I had my GIS class, and I did mention there's a few of my class. I mentioned there were some graduates who had to learn new technology. Yeah. We did teach them these things, scanning capability. You took over the scanning capability when you signed on. All right, drone guy. You are in an environment where you're going to learn how to do new things, new tools come in the market. These guys are successful, and we want all of you to be following in their footsteps and everyone else, because there's a lot out there to do. All right. If they are of interest to you all, please contact them. All right. You all will be coming back again, so you can. They are showing their interest in you. All right. So contact them. Let them know what your interest in terms of where you see yourself. And I like the fact that you appear to be a central unit where you look out for each other. All right. You value their plans in the future, there's no company that I've heard where they actually sit down and talk to you, hey, let's plan out your future. It's like you, when you first joined the program, we had a 4-year plan and a 2-year plan. They're following the same footsteps. Thank you all very much for coming. Appreciate the food. And again, open invitation to come back again. Appreciate it very much. That's great. You're too. You're great.